last couple of days, just this impromptu interview, how disciplined and straight into this it got. I've been doing so much research, and I'll tell you something about what I'm about, what the imperfect look perfect is about, is essentially removing the mask, the accolades, and everything. And I know with your book, started going through it, the untold story, aside from the accolades and the titles that we often hear about on a lot of podcasts and everything, I want to know
Yeah,
about who is Antonio at the core.
pretty much a guy who's fearless. He wants to make his dreams come true. Whether it's in personal life or related to business or just dreams, making those things happen. I'm the guy that just makes things happen. Whatever I want to do, whatever I always wanted to do, it's just a matter of time before I get it done. So I don't live for other people. I don't live for anybody else but myself and my family, and the morals and just for the dreams that I've always had. And those things are going to happen. Doesn't matter what age, doesn't matter when, but they will happen. And that's what my life is about. It's about just using every single day and making all those beautiful dreams that I've always wanted to do. They're happening, every one of them.
So where did that come from? Because I read a lot about obviously a story and from Czechoslovakia and Italy and then coming to America. Where
Yeah,
was that all rooted through your family generationally, or because I know there's a lot of stories about your grandmother, and
yeah,
where
no,
did this come from? That work discipline.
yeah, it's in the blood. It's in the DNA of the Sabato. My father, God bless his soul, he's in heaven. My mother, the way I was raised, I don't like to lose. If I don't make things happen, it means I'm losing, and that's just not the type of guy I am. When they tell me not to do something, I want to do it. I'm just always going against the current. You know what I mean? I'm just not doing what everybody else is doing. I don't want to be like everybody else. I've never been like everybody else. I think everybody's different and unique, and they should go after the uniqueness and really establish that and really focus on that and not try to focus to be somebody else. Just be yourself. Coming to this country, doing it legally, doing everything the right way, racing professionally. I'm going back into racing, boxing now, traveling around the world, doing movies my way, not following Hollywood, but doing it my way. And if they don't want me there, I'm going to make movies by myself. I'm going to make movies with people who believe in me, and just be surrounded by people who truly believe in me, and not people that just want to say things. So that's just the way that I've always been. I've learned that from my father, my mother, and I don't know. It's always been part of my DNA since I grew up in Italy. Coming to this country, wanted to be in this industry, wanted to race cars, wanted to box, whatever. Whatever I want to do, it's gonna happen. Just a matter of time.
But the thing about you that I've picked up off with your energy and your faith is the humbleness. Like, was that a sense from your parents as well? Because in every
Yep.
interview and everything, you're so polite when it comes to politics. You're not making judgment, and that's your personal beliefs. You're not airing
Yeah.
your dirty laundry or anything.
Yeah, no, I've always been professional. I learned that from my parents. Go to work. For example, people always ask me who your close friends are in the business, and I really don't have any close friends as far as best friends. I have actually my best friend lives over there, Robert Rabaya. He lives in Melbourne. He's a well-known Australian actor. I don't get to see him. I saw him last year, but we talk. I don't have to see him all the time. That's how close we are. But I don't have like the usual actors that I hang out with. I go to work, I make movies, TV shows, or whatever, and I punch in and I punch out. I never really wanted to share my personal life. I've always treated my craft as a job that I love dearly. But I never wanted to be part of those parties. I never wanted to hang out with people because they're just most of the times people in the world are mostly selfish. 90% of the world does not really care about what you think or what you want. It's a selfish world. It's just how we are. So I really want to focus on people who really truly care about me, and vice versa, which is my family and my close friends. I have acquaintances. I know a lot of people in the business. And I have close friends in the business, but you know, when I talk about friendship for me, and I've seen it, yeah, I've seen it with my father because my father was an actor for many years, and I see my father being the guy that helped everybody, that helped a lot of the friends. He bailed friends out of prison and things like that. And when things were rough, when we sold it, when we lost our home and we lost everything in Italy, nobody was there for my father. After our house burned to the ground, all the so-called friends in the business were not there. As a matter of fact, we met a stranger who's our friend to this day that we met in a store, and this person, a stranger, helped us out find a place over, and a roof over our head. Well, we had nothing. Imagine having everything burned down to the ground, everything your clothes, everything you belong in, your entire house is gone. And so I seen that. So I don't trust people in this business. Nobody cares about you. Nobody really takes the time. It's really rare that somebody goes out their way and goes, you know what, I'm going to help this guy. And I don't even need that, but I'm just saying that's how I see people for who they are. And most people use people. And in the industry that I'm in, they go to parties and they laugh and they talk about this and that. But when it comes down to the hardcore, and when it comes down jumping in front of a bus for you, nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to run their own ways. And I've always been the one to help people. I've always been the one to, when they needed my help, I was always there, but it wasn't the other way around. So that built a lot of personality in me that I don't need anybody. I don't need anything. I have everything. I have a beautiful wife. I have kids. I have my family who loves me unconditionally. And I have the few close friends who are my brothers and sisters. But I'm not so called the one that goes to Hollywood and says, hey, this and that, because I want to be appreciated for my talent. If they need me, they know what kind of person I am. So I'm always going to be the one that shows up first on the job and the last one to leave. And everybody knows that because I never had anything bad to say about me in the industry, except this political stuff, which is nonsense. But besides that, which has got nothing to do with my craft, I got nothing bad, and nobody's got anything bad to say about me in any movie set or TV shows I've ever done. Actually, it's the contrary. So I'm very proud of that. But and a long story short is I treat my job something I love dearly, but it's a job. The celebrity thing never really got to me. Who's a celebrity for me is Jesus Christ, the man upstairs. That's my celebrity. I don't consider actors celebrities. I don't consider them being more than others. Everybody's equal. Everybody lives and everybody dies. And if anything, I've always appreciated athletes more than actors because they work hard physically and they have to deal with the battle of winning those games. Like Michael Jordan was amazing to me when I met him, or Michael Schumacher when I met him. These guys that, or, Holyfield, boxers, Sugar Ray Leonard. I have great respect for them than actors because actors, they work hard for a movie and all that, but they're not fighting for their lives. They're not fighting to win that match and things like that. No, they're not. They're going to work, punching their clock. They have their assistants, their trainers, blah, blah, blah. And it's an easy life at the end of the day. I mean, it's hard to get that job, but once you get it and you can keep it, there's nothing to it. It's not that difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I love this conversation because even when you're talking about God there, and I always believe now, because I say he came to me through this campaign, people talk to us at the right times. And you just confirmed something for me. Lately, I've been reading a lot of Machiavelli and human
Yeah.
behavior and
Oh, yeah.
psychology because I've built this from ground up for 7 years. And like you say, you can be there for every other person. And when the shit happens, nobody's there for you. So
No,
it's kind of
there's
that
jealousy in
constant.
this business. Everybody's jealous. They don't want. I'm always been honest. You ask me something, tell you the truth. And in this business, everybody has that two face. You meet big stars, and I met them all, the biggest stars in the world. And when you meet them, there's two people there. There's a person that wants to show a little bit of themselves.
Yeah.
The celebrity, the star, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a personal person that they don't share with. With me, you get it all in one shot. I don't come out and pretend to be something else. I am me no matter what, throughout the cold or the hot or whatever. But most people in Hollywood, and they laugh and they laugh and this, and then on closed doors, they treat people like really the opposite. For me, it's not like that. For me, it's one way. You get Antonio all the way across the board.
Yeah, and I love that, and I respect it because even listening to a couple of podcasts that you've been on doing my research, I was listening to people trying to get the clickbaits and all these little headlines like, "Oh, have you got any stories from Hollywood? Have you got this?" And because I always say, laid in bed with entertainment with this and got to know a lot of people. A really
Yeah.
good friend of mine who you happen to know back from the day, Jeremy Jackson from Baywatch.
Oh, yeah.
He's turned his life around. He's like a brother of mine. First person I met in LA, and he was like, "Oh, there's just something about you, Glenn. I want to know you for you." And it was the first time that somebody saw me for me instead of what I could do
That's
for
good.
them. And
Yeah.
that industry is just, yeah, it's when I see these clickbaits and everything like this of just trying to get a little story out of you, that's why I'm like, no, no, take me back to how you navigated it and the person, because you also went through cancel culture. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is not to go into it, but what did it teach you about society when you've got a personal view?
It made me a lot stronger because I don't need any of it. I mean, you could actually break through and fall apart and go in a very dark place. You know, when you work in an industry for over 30 some years and you say something that they don't like, and all of a sudden they so-called blacklist you and they say, you know what, you're not going to work here anymore. We're not going to represent you anymore, and this and that. And if you don't have a strong personality, you can fall through the cracks. I've seen people apologize for something they shouldn't have, or they have to put the tail between their legs and take it back. I've just saw it the other day. Uh, Mario Lopez was coming out with Dana White and the president of the United States at the UFC. He's behind them. He knows exactly. He's walking there with him. And then they asked him, "Did you support the president?" "Oh, I didn't know he was there." "He's in front of you. You're in the green room. You're coming out in front of the world. You're walking behind the president of the United States, Donald Trump. You don't know he's there." So he had to, like, swallow his pride, keep it quiet. "Don't get me into it. I didn't know. I was there for Dana White." And it's like that kind of thing that is weak, that weakness with people, that because if they say something wrong, and he already said that before, a lot of people said about, you know, the other things that they're personal to them, and all of a sudden they have to take it back and go, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like that. Just leave me alone." Instead of standing out to your ground and saying, "This is who I am, regardless," but they don't want to lose their job, and which is nonsense. They shouldn't even be about that. But there's a guy who walked behind the president. He knows he's walking behind the president. He's right next to him, and then he's asked, "Do you support the president?" "No, I just was there with Dana White." You know what I mean? It's that weakness that all these people in Hollywood will do to keep their job. If you work for Marvel, Marvel has to be like, those actors have to say certain things. They have to say, and they have to live in that environment, that circle that you can't cross. You
Mm.
can't be a conservative. You can't talk about the flag, and now you can't talk about illegal immigration or or whatever it is, because then you're gonna lose your job, and people are gonna, like, spank you in the butt. And it's like, where are these people going to stand up for this? Because the more they do that, the more Hollywood is going to crush you every single time, and it's going to shut you down every single time. And nobody's going to shut me down, and nobody's going to tell me what to say, what not to say. You're going to hire me for my craft. You're going to hire me for me as the actor, because that's what I do. But you're not going to tell me to shut myself down. It's never going to happen. And if it means that I don't work in Hollywood anymore and I have to do small movies and nobody's going to see, apparently, or whatever, which I fight for that, because even the small movies that I do, I want people to see, so be it. But my integrity, I sleep good at night knowing that I didn't succumb for that, for that communism and that tyranny that they want you to fall apart, into. It's not going to happen with me. I'm going to stand up for everything I believe in. If you don't like it, so be it. It's a free country, but you're not going to tell me what to say. You're not going to shut me down ever. And I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's
Not going
it's
to
like
happen.
that saying, isn't it? Isn't you're gonna fall and die on your sword for your truth.
Yeah, and I'm gonna own my beliefs. And if you don't like it, so be it. I'm not here to make you happy. I'm not here. Not everybody's gonna like what I say, and I don't care. I don't care what anybody says about me. I don't care about people's opinions. My fans, the ones that's been there for the beginning, I love them to death. They're gonna be with me. But I'm not here to make people happy. I'm not here to work in a circus. I'm not here to juggle and be the monkey. You know what I mean? Like all these actors and celebrities in Hollywood do. Walk the red carpet and say the same things and look around like Two-Face. And then on closed doors, they treat their assistants like crap, or, they yell at people or whatever. And, I'm not like that. I'm a kind person, but you're not going to shut me down. I come from a bloodline of warriors, Sicilian gladiators, Romans, and my mother's family from the northern Eastern Europe that's been through hell and back. So no, nobody's going to shut me down. And hopefully people will see that. And producers in Hollywood all over the world, even in Australia, will say, "You know what? I'm going to hire that guy because he's fearless." I treat people with humanity and love and kindness, and truth and honor. That's me.
Just for this podcast, in terms of the mental health and well-being aspect, there's people who clearly are not as strong-minded and willed as you. So was there ever a time where you could have possibly lost yourself? Because going
Mm-hmm.
from a lot of jobs like you used to do to then this huge billboard of Calvin Klein and then general practice and all the movies and everything. Was there a
Yeah.
time that you could have easily been swayed? Because I know when there's a lot of noise, it can happen, but you must have been so rooted. But was there
Yeah,
any
I mean,
ever?
I was doing movies and I was doing my own thing and being the star of these movies and TV shows for a very long time. And all of a sudden, people were, because I supported this man or I supported this cause or whatever that was against everything that Hollywood stands for, supposedly. And all of a sudden, I was the bad guy. I was the guy, being surrounded by leprosy. I was the sickest guy. People were calling me names. And then, for a moment, like I said, if you don't have a good armor that protects you, you can really fall apart, because you feel like, what else am I going to do? It's like it's over, right? But it's never over. And I want people to know out there, it's never over. And you can learn from things. You can learn from setbacks, and you can move forward in a different way and get stronger than ever before.
It's good because one thing that you said there, I always remember someone saying to me, it was like, "Are you ready yet?" And I was like, "Am I ready for what?" So if you got $1 million, would you know what to do with it? And at the time, I was like, "Holy shit, no!" And then he goes, "Are you ready for fame?" I've never sought it. It's not me. But I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Well, have you got the right people around you? Have you got the thick skin?" And there's a lot of these young ones these days with social media wanting to blow up. And like you just said there, like if you don't have that armor, that shield on, that can take you down. So
They can take it. Also, the wrong people who are putting voices in your head and manipulating and brainwashing you, and all of a sudden you're like, who am I? Who am I? I'm listening to every all these voices instead of listening to who I am and my own spirit that makes me different and unique. So, like I said, when people in the industry see that and they go, you know what, I want to work with that guy because that guy is going to lead into my movie. He's going to do everything I want him to do, and he's got dignity and honor. That's why directors always like me because I work with George Miller, the director of Man from Snowy River, Australian director. He passed away, a great guy. And he always told me every day we went to work, you are an honorable man. Because you know what? I didn't get involved with the rest of the actors and the gossiping and all stuff. I did my job. I did everything he wanted me to do and some. And I was always devoted to his idea and his goal as a director. William Friedkin, another one that he directed The French Connection and The Exorcist. He passed away. God bless his soul. And I had a chance to work with him. The same thing he told me. I said, Antonio, I appreciate you because you know what? All the people I ever work with, you follow every direction. You did everything I wanted you to do and some. That's the type of guy I am. And I rely on directors. I rely on the crew. I'm the guy that talks to the Teamsters. I'm the guy that talks to the makeup people and all stuff. And I get to know who they are. It's not about me. I don't come in going, oh, I've done 100 movies, blah, blah, blah. It's never been about me.
yeah.
When I hang out with other actors and they always talk about themselves, I'm the last guy talking about me. If you ask me, I'll answer. If you want to know about what I'm doing, I'll talk to you about it. But I'm not the one going, no, I've done this movie, I've done this show, I work with that. It's not about me. I want to get to know people. I am very humble in my own self. I don't showcase everything. I don't have to. I don't have to show everything speaks for itself. And also I'm interested in other people's ideas and who they are as people. That's why a lot of crews, a lot of stunt guys, a lot of drivers and transportation and electricians and carpenters, they know who I am to this day because I was part of that. When I work on a movie, I'm part of the whole crew. I get involved.
But again, I've got to bring it back to everything that I've done through research on you, and you're very good at bringing it back to the craft and other people. Like it's about you on these shows and everything, but still you've got a way of intertwining and talking about the movie and talking about this, and then
Yeah,
even the ones where you were talking about your book, you'd
yeah,
revert it back to the craft, and they're going, "But tell me a story about somebody," and you're just like, "No, no, 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 no."
yeah.
So it shows you that you're an honorable man, and it's
Yeah, I don't
it
have
says a lot
nothing to
about
lie. I
Dave.
don't lie about anything, and nobody will. They always say nobody. I'm not perfect. Of course, you're not perfect, but I try to drive myself to perfection every day. I try to in my training, in my driving, in my craft, I try to push myself to the limits every day. That's the point of living. If you don't get better every single day, no matter how old you are, what's the point of living? If you stay the same or you get worse as you get older, what's the point of living? So for me, it's always about getting better. And my best days are in front of me. They're not behind me. The best is yet to come. Like Frank Sinatra says, the best is yet to come. For me, the best is yet to come. Tomorrow is going to be better than today. Tomorrow is going to be better. Tomorrow is going to be better. But today is better than yesterday. So that's how I live my life is that every day I push and I push and I push. No matter how hard it is, I'm still going to go for it and win every time.
I just got a question for you, and it popped in my head. Maybe a God question, but it's all this clearly came from your family, passed down generationally. And I know that your father's passed now, but if he was in front of you from everything that you've learned, what would you say to him that is passed down? Because all I see in front of me is someone who's so grounded and humble, but yet so strong.
Well, I love my father more than anything, and I never got to say as much as I wanted to, especially when he passed away. But I miss my father, and I'm living my life for him. You know, there's boxing matches for him, racing is for him. Me standing up to the evil that I've been confronted with for all these years is for him. Everything is for my father and my mother, my parents, and my loved ones. You know, my partner, my kids, standing up for what is right. You know, never losing. I'm never going to lose, no matter what. And that's just the type of and I've learned that from him because my father never lost, and my father was bigger than life, and there's only one of him, and he knows it that I'm living my life for him, and I will keep winning for my father, and we'll keep the name Sabato going because I'm the first generation here. Sabato, you know, there's a lot of Sabatos in this country. They say they're related to me. No, 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 no. I'm the first one, and my sister and my father and my mother that came to this country, and my kids.
Mm.
Those are the Sabato in this country from my heritage, from my bloodline. Everybody else, they're not related to me. So anybody that says they're related to me, they're not. And so I'm very proud of the fact that we came to this country legally and we did it the right way. We never took any welfare programs from this country. We never took anything. We work hard. We earn our citizenship. Now I'm an Italian citizen and I'm also an American citizen, and I appreciate both countries. But I earned those citizenships, and I've learned from both countries very much. And now I know who I am. I'm 53 years old, best shape of my life. I know exactly what I want, and I'm fearless. And thanks to my father and all those, you know, all those things that happened to me over the years made me stronger. And I thank them. You know, bad or good, I'm stronger because of those events in my life. And I wouldn't change anything. People say, what's your favorite movie that you did? Or what's a favorite moment in your life? I don't look in the past. There's nothing to look in the past. I don't look and go, oh, in 90, I wish I was there. Whatever. No, that's irrelevant. Right now, all that matters is today, talking to you, getting ready for this fight, the things that I have in front of me. Everything in the past is gone. I can't change that. All I can do is right now. So I don't look in the past. I never do. I never for once consider like, oh, you know, I wish I'd be back in the 90s when I was making movies all the time and people. No, I don't. What's that got to do? How are you going to do that? You're going to go back in the past? You have a machine that takes you. No, you can't do that.
Mhm.
So I focus on what's real, what I can do, which is today. And that's the most important thing. How do I live my life from this point on, you know?
Wow. And there's just a question that I ask every single person that comes on it. And I know you talk about like you like to be perfect when it comes to your craft, but your flaws, anything, the quirks that we've got, what does being imperfectly perfect mean to you?
Well, a lot of things. I mean, like insecurities, things that I was insecure growing up. I didn't speak the language. I always wanted to be sounding like an American citizen. And I went to ESL classes, English second language. I was never part um, of the American kids, and then I have to work my way up there so I can be with the rest of the kids. I didn't want to be with the foreign kids. Another insecurity was that I left high school. I never got my diploma. So in the last few years, I was so insecure about like my mother wanted me to graduate from high school. It was very important to her. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to high school. I'm gonna get my diploma, and I did. I graduated from high school. I got my diploma from Florida, and so that was one insecurities that I had, that I never graduated from high school, but I did it. So, like I said, everything that I did, maybe I did it at different times, maybe I did it later than most times, or whatever it's supposed to be, but I did everything I was supposed to do. And there's so much more I got to do. I mean, this is the beginning. I want to race the Le Mans. I want to finish the 24-hour Le Mans, and it's going to be this weekend. So, I've been talking to people and teams, and I have a sports agent that's been working really hard. I want to race and that race. There's a lot of stuff I got to do. There's so many things I got to do, and places that me and my girl want to go to and experience and stuff. So, yeah, the best is yet to come, and there's a lot of stuff I got to do.
Nice. And then lastly, tell us about the fight when it's coming up. Your book, The Untold Story, I know it's been out a couple of years, but where can people get it? Because it's a great read.
No, thank you. The Antonio Sabato Jr. The Untold Story is a book that I pretty much did by myself. I didn't have a distribution company. I had an original distribution company and publishing company, and they released it the wrong way. So I did it again. I released the second version, which is my version, which is the one you have. And the fight is in Philadelphia, September 26th, Friday, September 26th, and this is the first of many fights. I called everybody from Jake Paul to Logan Paul to Mayweather to Canelo. You know, they do these celebrity boxing events, so why not stepping in the ring with these guys? It's a real fight. It's not a sanctioned fight, but I am fighting for a celebrity super middleweight championship belt, which I'm very excited about, and it's a real fight, and nobody else in the business is doing that, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm training extremely hard, and I'm going to shock the world, and I'm going to show everybody what talent to have as a boxer in my 50s, and even if they're in their 20s, I'm going to take them all out one by one.
Well, keep on inspiring because it sounds like the life is just beginning for you. But where can people
Yeah.
find out more information about you?
Just go on my Instagram. That's usually there. Celebrityboxing.com. Everything will be put out there. But this is probably the biggest celebrity boxing event. Headlining the card. I'm the main event. Come down to Philadelphia on September 26th. You'll be able to watch it, stream it, pay per view, all that, and it's going to be a huge event. There's many, many, many more coming after that, and like I said, then I'm going to try to to get this racing going as well for McLaren. I'm excited that McLaren is interested in me for the McLaren series here in America or in Europe. I want to get into racing, and yeah. And then I have a movie coming out, 426. It's a horror movie. Comes out in October for Halloween. I have a movie that just came out on Prime, on Amazon Prime, called Grace by Night, which is one of my favorite deer movie that I starred in that everybody should see. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I'm excited about what's next.
I'm going to put all the links up, guys, where you can find out more information about Antonio, grab his book, find out more about his fighting and his racing. But until next time, guys, keep having the hard conversations because it's the hard conversations that save lives.